In the heart of the Arabian Peninsula, in the ancient city of Mecca, a child was born into a world filled with injustice and darkness. It was the year of the elephant. This child was Prophet Muhammad. Even before he was born, his father had already passed away, and at just 6 years old, he lost his beloved mother too, a small orphan child. But was he really alone? No, because Allah had already planned something great for him. Strat. In the heart of the Arabian Peninsula, in the ancient city of Mecca, a child was born into a world filled with tribal pride, social injustice, and spiritual darkness. The year was approximately 570 CE, known as the Year of the Elephant. This child, named Muhammad, entered the world under circumstances that would shape his destiny in profound ways. Even before he was born, tragedy had struck. His father, Abdullah, had already passed away. He would never feel the warmth of his father's embrace. At just 6 years old, another devastating blow came. His beloved mother, Amina, also passed away during a journey. In a short span of time, the young boy had become an orphan. But though he had lost both parents, he was never truly alone. There was a higher plan unfolding. After the loss of his mother, Muhammad was taken into the care of his grandfather, Abdul Muttalib, a respected leader of Quraysh. The old man loved the child deeply and saw something special in him. However, fate had more tests in store. Within 2 years, his grandfather also passed away. Now, the young orphan was placed under the care of his uncle Abu Talib, a man of modest means but immense compassion. Despite poverty, Abu Talib raised Muhammad with love and dignity. From a very young age, Muhammad began to show extraordinary character. He was honest, humble, and deeply thoughtful. While other children played, he often reflected on life, nature, and the world around him. People began to notice. As Muhammad grew into a young man, his reputation spread throughout Mecca. He was known as Al-Amin, the trustworthy. In a society where dishonesty and exploitation were common, he stood out like a shining light. People trusted him with their wealth, their secrets, and their disputes. He never lied. He never cheated. He never wronged anyone. His integrity was so strong that even his enemies could not deny it. This character was not built by comfort, it was shaped through hardship. As he entered adulthood, Muhammad began working as a merchant. He traveled across the deserts, engaging in trade, dealing with different people and cultures. But unlike others, he was fair in every transaction. He never deceived customers. He never exploited the weak. His honesty caught the attention of a noble and wealthy woman, Khadija, R.A. Impressed by his character, she proposed marriage to him. Their marriage was built on love, respect, and trust. Khadija, R.A., became not just his wife, but his greatest supporter. Despite his successful life, Muhammad was deeply troubled by the state of society. People worshipped idols. The poor were oppressed. Women were treated unjustly. Morality was fading. He often withdrew to the cave of Hira, seeking solitude and reflection. He was searching for truth, for meaning, for guidance. And then, one night, everything changed. At the age of 40, while meditating in the cave of Hira, an extraordinary event took place. The angel Gabriel, appeared before him and commanded, "Read." Muhammad, who was not literate, replied, "I cannot read." The command came again and again. Finally, the first verses of the Quran were revealed. This was the beginning of prophethood. This was the moment that would transform not just his life, but the entire world. When Muhammad began preaching the message of Islam, calling people to worship one God, he faced intense opposition. The leaders of Quraysh saw this message as a threat to their power. They mocked him. They insulted him. They persecuted his followers. Stones were thrown at him. He was rejected by his own people. Yet, he never responded with hatred. Instead, he showed patience, compassion, and unwavering faith. Even when he was harmed, Muhammad prayed for those who hurt him. He did not seek revenge. He sought guidance for others. His message was simple yet powerful. Worship one God. Be honest and just. care for the poor, respect human dignity. This message slowly began to transform hearts. As persecution increased, Muhammad and his followers migrated to Medina. This migration, Hijra, marked a turning point. In Medina, he established a society based on justice, equality, and brotherhood. People of different tribes and backgrounds lived together peacefully. It was not just a religious movement, it was a complete way of life. The Muslim community was small and weak compared to their enemies. Yet, in battles like Badr, they achieved victory against much larger armies. How? Not through numbers, not through weapons, but through faith, discipline, and unity. Years later, Muhammad returned to Mecca with a strong following. This was the moment of victory. The same people who once persecuted him now stood powerless. Everyone expected revenge. But what did he do? He forgave them all. Go, you're free. This act of mercy changed history from an orphan child to the leader to the most influential human in history. Prophet Muhammad became a symbol of mercy, justice, patience, truth. His life teaches us that true success is not measured by wealth or power, but by character and service to humanity. And no matter how difficult your beginning is, no matter how many hardships you face, with patience, faith, and truth, you too can rise. When Prophet Muhammad arrived in Medina, he didn't just settle there. He built something revolutionary, a society based not on wealth, not on tribe, but on justice, equality, and faith. He united people who were once enemies, the Aws and Khazraj tribes, and made them brothers. He created a bond so strong that people began to share their homes, their food, even their wealth. This was not just leadership. This was transformation. For the first time in history, a written agreement was established between Muslims, Jews, and other communities. It guaranteed freedom of religion, protection of rights, justice for all. This document became known as the Constitution of Medina. It showed the world that Islam was not just a religion, but a complete system of life that could not accept this growing power. A confrontation became inevitable. The Battle of Badr. A small Muslim army, around 313 men, facing nearly 1,000 enemies. No proper weapons, no strong resources, but something far greater. Unshakable faith. And against all odds, victory came. This moment proved that success does not come from numbers, but from belief in unity. But victory was not always easy. At the Battle of Uhud, a mistake changed everything. Some companions left their positions, and the tide of battle turned. Many were injured. Even Prophet Muhammad was hurt. Blood flowed from his face. Yet he did not curse his enemies. Instead he said, "O Allah, guide my people, for they do not know." This was not just patience. This was divine character. Enemies united. Thousands marched toward Medina. They were outnumbered again. But this time, a new strategy was used. A trench was dug around the city. Weeks passed. Cold nights, hunger, fear. Yet faith remained strong. And in the end, the enemy retreated without victory. Peaceful journey to Mecca turned into a tense negotiation. The Treaty of Hudaybiyah seemed unfair to many Muslims, but Prophet Muhammad accepted it. Why? Because he saw beyond the moment. He saw the future. And indeed, this treaty opened doors for Islam to spread rapidly. Sometimes, peace is the greatest victory. After the treaty, people began to see Islam clearly, no longer hidden by conflict. Its beauty became visible. Letters were sent to kings and rulers, inviting them to truth. Islam spread across lands, not by force, but by character and message. Years after being forced out, Prophet Muhammad returned to Mecca with an army of 10,000. This was the moment of truth. The city stood silent. The same people who once harmed him now stood helpless. Everyone expected revenge, but instead of revenge, he chose mercy. He declared, "No blame upon you today. You are all free." In that moment, he conquered not just a city, but hearts. This was the greatest victory. The idols inside the Kaaba were removed. Truth replaced falsehood. the message of one God was restored, and the center of worship became pure again. In his final hajj, Prophet Muhammad delivered a message to humanity, a message that still echoes today. All humans are equal. No Arab is superior to a non-Arab. Women have rights. Is forbidden. He asked, "Have I delivered the message?" And the crowd replied, "Yes, you have." Soon after, his mission was complete. The man who changed the world fell ill. In his final moments, he cared not for wealth, not for power, but for his people. His last concern, my ummah, he passed away. But his message never did. From a single man to billions of followers, his legacy continues. From an orphan to the greatest leader, Prophet Muhammad showed patience in hardship, mercy in victory, truth in all times. This is not just history. This is a guide for life. If this story touched your heart, share it with others, because the world needs this message more than ever.